back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you a story about something that happened to me. As you can see from the title of this video, it's about hair loss. And I actually didn't want to make this video because I was quite embarrassed about the fact that it happened. But recently I went to the hairdresser and she didn't know about what had been happening with my hair. And she ran her fingers through my hair and she was like, "Your hair is so much thicker, like what have you been doing?" And it's then that I realized that actually the stuff that I've been on like an epic journey with my hair, and the things that I've learned, wow, it actually made me really grateful for the experience, and I wanted to share all the positive things that I discovered as a result of this. So I want to take you right back to the beginning, and just before I do, please be patient with this video. There is a lot of good information in it. It's just that it might take a little bit of time for me to get to the like juicy solution part. I want to take you through all the crappy things that I recommend you shouldn't do because I went through them and it actually made the problem a lot worse. So about, I would say 3 years ago, I started noticing my hair was falling out a lot, but in my head I was like, well, you got long hair and hair falls out, that's just what it does. But I also started noticing that the hair at the top of my head was very, very thin. Being a proactive person, I thought, you know what, Cel, why don't you just do some research on different things you can do in your diet that will help to bring your hair back stronger, and also maybe a couple of things like products that you can use. And so I started Googling things. They were like, you know, iron, B12, protein, and I started doing all of that with like supplements. I also researched products and I spent a lot of money on very expensive hair shampoos and conditioners that are meant to stimulate hair growth. And what I found was that actually my hair was still falling out and my hair was getting thinner and thinner, and I was quite distressed about it. And so one day I was very disheartened by the whole thing, and I was thinking, I feel like I'm doing quite a lot to help the situation. I could not be healthier. I'm eating so clean. Like, why is this happening? And then I saw this advert on the London Underground advertising this hair loss clinic. And in my head, I thought, well, you know what a great idea, because I'm sure they're going to do blood tests and they're going to analyze your diet and they're really going to look at you as a whole and they're going to find a solution based on your body and what's going on with you. So I made an appointment and I went there, and it was so crazy. So I sat down in the consultant's room, and the very first thing that they do is they put this magnifying glass in your head which blows up the size of your hair follicles like, I don't know, 500 times or something, and they put it on this massive screen in front of you, and they start to show you how the hair follicles over here are very different to the hair follicles around here, and that you've got loads of hair in this part but very little here, and you can actually see the difference between the two. Honestly, you see this and I am terrified because I knew that this was happening, but then you see it on this huge big screen and your anxiety goes through the roof with something like this. And so I said to her, okay, well, you know what, why is this happening and what can we do about it? And without a shadow of a doubt, I had the consultant and the head doctor come and take a look, and they both agreed that it was genetic. Boom. It's just genetic. There's nothing you can do about it in terms of diet or changing your lifestyle. And I was like, but isn't there anything I can do with my health, or isn't there anything missing in my diet? They were like, no, it's genetic. Blanket term, boom. And I was like, honestly, to be perfectly honest, I was a little bit skeptical at this point. And I said, well, what is the solution for something like this? And they said, well, you could have a hair transplant surgery, which will cost £8,000. And I was like, sorry, what? Comma. And then they said, or you can use this spray on your head called minoxidil. That's £50. So they kind of give you this price contrast. Now, £50 for a bottle of spray is still a lot of money. And I was like, well, what is minoxidil? So it turns out it's this chemical which stimulates hair growth. And to be honest, I was really naive and I bought this minoxidil stuff without doing any research on it, purely out of fear. I went home and I started using it, and I didn't really enjoy using it. It made my scalp feel burny and itchy and not very good. But my hair started growing back, and guys, I was so happy. I was elated. And in my head, I convinced myself that it wasn't just the spray that I'd been using, but also the months that I've been preparing my body, being so healthy and putting a lot of effort into eating a clean diet. Anyway, I was so happy, my hair was growing back, chucked the minoxidil, half the bottle still in it, away, and then the hair loss got a lot worse. To the point where it was worse than before I started using the minoxidil. I was completely going out of my mind at this point, and I just decided, do you know what? I looked back at all my family members. How could it be genetic if every single person still had all their hair, and they're elderly people now? Like, it just didn't make sense. So I was like, okay, screw that, I'm gonna start really addressing my health. So I spent quite a bit of money on different things, like I went for a live blood analysis. I think that's about £100. They look at your blood and they blow it up to the biggest form possible, and they just look at what's happening in your blood. I went on loads for colonic irritation irrigation, which I know sounds disgusting, but I was so desperate, and I spoke to all the therapists and they were giving me all this different advice. In the old end, after a lot of research and really going to see so many different people, I had two things that made the biggest solution. The first one is I discovered someone called a functional medical doctor, and also she was an acupuncturist as well. And this woman is incredible. The first thing she did is she sent my stool away for analysis. And what they discovered was a few different things. The first thing was there was something called high anti-gliadin. And what that means is that my gut was highly affected by gluten. So anytime I ate it, it was stopping my gut from absorbing nutrients. The second thing they found was that there was a lack of pancreatic enzymes. So I was getting food into my stomach, but the pancreas wasn't giving enough enzymes to break it down, to make it digestible and absorbable for my gut. And then the third thing was they found a high level of a bacteria called Klebsiella. And what Klebsiella does is it comes along and eats up all your nutrients. Now, if your body is starved of nutrients, it looks after the important things like your organs, and the stuff that isn't necessary for survival, like your hair, it just gets rid of that because it doesn't have enough to go around for everything. So you can imagine I was so happy when we discovered these three things and we started addressing it. I was taking pancreatic enzymes. I cut gluten out completely because that was stopping my gut from absorbing, and I was taking a strong herb which helps to kill Klebsiella. But as you can imagine, things were not happening quickly enough for me, and I still had a lot of anxiety and stress. Every day I would look in the mirror and I'd analyze, like, how strong is my hair? Like, oh my god, hair's still falling out, and there was a lot of stress. And so what I decided was, do you know what? This is a large part physical, but there's another large mental part to it. So why don't you go see a hypnotherapist to help you? And it was really great. I only had one session. He was so lovely. I told him my story and he said, but you found the solution. Like, you should be happy and you're on the right path and things take a while. And he was really level-headed and chilled out about it. He said, okay, well, let's do a treatment. Lay me down on his couch, and for half an hour got me to relax very deeply. And then he just said positive things like, you're on the right track, your body is healing, your body knows what it's doing, and once it has enough nutrients, your hair will start to grow back. And it was like a little bit of a switch had flicked in my brain. I stopped stressing about my hair. And then, like I said, I went to the hairdresser the other day, and guys, my hair is so thick, and I had, like, you can see it's just improved so much. I think on one of the videos that I taught, you can see that as I lean forward into the camera, you can see that I've got like gaps in my hair. Now, you are very different to me. You might not have the same things wrong, but what I would encourage you is please stay away from those hair loss clinics. They do a lot more damage, and they design to make money out of you. Find yourself a functional medical doctor, and the most important thing they can do is a stool test and a blood test. And based on those two bits of information, they'll be able to see what's lacking in your body, where there's an imbalance, and what you need to balance things out to get your hair to grow back. Okay, my loves, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video. I know there was a lot of talking and a lot of information. Please just remember that if you are feeling really scared about this whole thing, it's very natural and very normal, but chill out because the stress definitely won't make it any better. I'm sending you lots of love, so much strength, and beautiful hairstyles because I firmly believe that there really is a solution out there for you. Until next time, I'll see you soon.